Welcome to my messy life. Take my hand and dive right on in with me. It's gonna be alright. Messy imperfect life with Leigh.
I am tickled today to have the beautiful, inspiring, feisty, uh, full of so much love that it is the word emulate, right? Emulates from your eyeballs. Emanates.
Emanate. I
Thank
like
you.
emanate and
I
emulate.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's something I picked up with my dyslexia that in my brain I have three words that could mean something, but I can't remember which one
That's why
fits.
you're brilliant.
Oh gosh, thank you.
It is.
Why? Who else had dyslexia?
My daughter has it, and I think
Is
I
she
probably have
brilliant?
something. She is
Okay, I think
very creative.
Einstein probably had it.
Oh, he did.
Okay,
He had
thanks.
every marginal thing you'd want because he was brilliant.
So if you can see this on YouTube, this is beautiful Missy,
Hello.
who we have become friends
Oh, wow.
kind of recently.
hmm
When was that?
Well, we met when we were at Craig's thing in October. And I was like in awe of you because I thought you were absolutely bold, brilliant, brave, all the B words.
Oh, I love those B words. I
Yeah.
normally don't hear those words. Oh, wow. My dog just came in.
Hi, Sue.
Will you hold your
Oh
drink
my
so he
gosh.
doesn't
Hi, sweetie.
she doesn't kick it over?
Okay, come here.
Could you yell at
Yeah.
Alicia, please? Her name's Posy, but
Posy, come on, baby. Let's go.
not this
Posy.
way, Posy. She'll knock everything
Posy,
over.
let's go.
No. You could just get
There
Alicia.
you go.
Ah,
She's very slick.
Good
Come on,
girl,
Posy. Let's go.
Posy.
but then someone has to. What happened?
I just love this because I got to tell you, it's real life.
It is.
This is
messy
life.
imperfect life. So it is real life, but it's so funny because you have to just surrender to what is, right? Because just
Yeah.
now I was like, all right, I got the dogs put away. I got them little treats. I made sure they weren't back here when you came back, so you didn't get knocked over. I did everything just right, and then someone lets the dog out, and she's just barking in the backyard. Do you have your cell phone, by the way?
Yeah, I do.
Could you text Alicia, please, and
Who
ask
let
her
the
to
dogs out?
bring in the dogs, please,
Woof,
so we don't have
woof.
incessant barking in the back? And maybe other people can't hear it, but I can.
It is distracting.
Tick, switch with it. Okay. It is distracting. So we met in October, which was a year ago, right? Or
October of 18, so it's been like 7 months.
oh,
That was my first one.
oh wait, that was when I signed up.
That's when I signed up.
So we both joined this mastermind
We're-
group together.
We're sign up sisters.
And then what? I didn't know we could be
I
another
mean,
level of
I
sister.
must be in acronyms today. We're sign up sisters.
I like sign up sisters.
Yeah.
I would like to have a little more romantic one than your sign up sister because people have like sister wives or sister best
We're
friend or
heart sign up sisters.
heart sign up sisters. I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take the heart. Okay, so we met not too long ago.
Mm-mm.
And what was our very first interaction? Because I can't bring back that super fast. I need
I
help.
sat behind you and I was thinking,
The other day?
no, when we first met in October.
Okay, thank you.
And I didn't even know I was there. I had a friend of mine that couldn't make the event and she had back surgery. And she said, can you go to this? I go, what is it? I didn't even know who he was or any of that. And so I went in as a blank slate.
Me
And
too. I
then-
just went in to hang out with Minda.
Yeah. But I thought you were so funny, authentically funny, and so real life. I loved your glasses because I'm really like into style and just funky, fun stuff. And
Yeah.
I just thought I loved your spirit.
Oh,
And so,
gracious.
and then we just kind of connected.
But what was our first interaction?
Oh my goodness.
Was it just a passing and a smile like, hi?
I think, when I was talking, he asked about email lists and I didn't know what a big email list was. And I mentioned it and you turned around and you said something that just was so funny. So I just really got to get to connect with her. But I remember more.
It was something funny. It wasn't something like, I can't believe you didn't know that.
No,
I
yeah,
wouldn't say
that's
that.
so not you.
No, I wouldn't say that.
I think other people said that to me, but it wasn't
I was like,
you.
right on.
Yeah.
You're challenged like I.
Yeah, and you're just the real deal. I think that's what I loved about more than anything. And you were talking about your kids and you have this big family and living in Southern California, you don't always get the authentic thing.
Yeah.
So then when we were at our mastermind up at Sherwood is when I think I really connected with you and I just thought, oh my gosh,
I
Yeah, and
felt
I
the
took
same
pictures of you and
way.
Minda. I just really wanted to showcase you and Minda's joy, your spirit. And I think that's really when I thought I
Oh.
really am looking forward to this journey together.
And we met and we have the same kind of loving, giving, excited energy
Hmm.
and always wanting to be more and to
Yeah.
expand and to share all that we know in order to make it our difference in the world.
Yeah.
And um, I have to say that you have one of the most giving spirits in you want to help women and you are helping women and you're creating these events. Like I just attended her POP event, which is Passion on Purpose. I always I have to make sure I get the letters right with what it's called, Passion on Purpose. And I got to speak at it, which was such an honor. But it was so neat to see you bring those women together and to be so all in and have people's products showing their products. Just your heart is so big, but it's not big to yourself. It's big because you're expanding it and helping other people. And I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to you too. It was my first event and it was very interesting. A lot of lessons. We had sold out the event and then I'm freaking out because I have 30 name tags. They were paid, but they didn't come. And I had given them to a particular group I'm involved in a much lower ticket price.
Hmm.
And so then when they heard about it, they're like, oh my gosh, I missed it. So it just, that was a really good lesson.
I want
But
to talk about that lesson real quick
oh,
before you jump to the next
yeah.
part. Is number one, and that's why I like the messiness of life. Anytime you wait to have it perfect, anytime you wait till
Mm,
you think you know everything, anytime you wait to, you're missing the boat. You just start doing whatever the hell you want to do,
oh,
and
so
then you
true.
learn. And then the next time you do it, it's better and it's better and it's better. But if you sit around waiting for it to be just right, it never will be because your mind will
Mm-mm.
sabotage you because our minds keep us from actually just doing it.
Or
So,
other people will. I had so many people tell me that I couldn't do it where I was doing it. It was a really nice, it was Hotel Irvine. I'll give them a shout out. And
hey, Hotel Irvine,
Hotel
hi.
Irvine, yeah, Andrea. Um, and it was too expensive. It was too high end for whatever. But then, and I think you can relate to this. This is where the messy, it's kind of perfectly messy. Is I saw these name tags and I was thinking, oh my gosh, they're not there. They paid. Why aren't they there? And I'm thinking, I'm a loser. Like I don't have, how
Our
you,
minds
oh my
so
gosh.
get so excited for defeat or something that doesn't go as
Yeah.
planned. So it can start, what's it called when you hit yourself on the back? Flogging.
Yeah. Or
So you
you,
can start beating
yeah.
yourself up.
Yeah. It was like I got into the tornado of self doubt and you just start
Well,
doing
the
this.
second you're out of your body and nervous, right? You're
Yeah. Yeah.
susceptible to be taken over by your ego. And if one
Oh,
thing
so
kicks you or
true.
flicks you, your ego is in charge and taking you downtown. You're sweating in your pretty dress. You're freaking out. You can't remember where anything is. You feel like a loser because not enough people are there. One thing that I remember is I did a workshop, I did my first workshop in Sherman Oaks. I don't know, remember when, and I think 3 people walked in and I had like 25 chairs out. I was like, I'm a loser. I'm a loser. What do I have to say? What was I thinking? And then I was like, oh, wait a second, God. You're bringing the exact people here who need to hear
Yeah.
from me tonight. And and it has to be this exact group
So
with this
true.
exact amount of people that I can interact in the way that needs to be done
Ah,
tonight. And I was in such gratitude. I think 8 more people came in.
it's to your point, like the feedback we got from the event was amazing. Again, I have to shout out because one of the compliments I got was because Leigh was there and showed up in such a real way. She touched everybody's heart. We're all excited about coming to her event in October and also hearing her speak at Summer School for Speakers in August. So what I'm loving about this whole adventure is the growth and also being real about it not being perfect and how you process that. And then I it's a conscious mind shift of like, be grateful that we're all here and serve who's here, whether it be
Yes.
10, 20, 100, or a
Your
thousand.
ego wants to count heads. Your heart wants to kiss their head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I
And I
just made
thought
that up. I think I
that was
really like it.
good. That
Well,
was
you
so
made note of that
good.
time. Could I really like that?
Yeah,
That
that
that.
was
Yeah.
good.
Thanks. Yeah, because it's true. It's so true. When this gets involved, we're screwed. When this gets involved, we're on point. We're
And
on
I
purpose.
visually had this boulder. It was a boulder in my business moment. And it's like, honey, I shrunk the boulder. So in my
Yay!
head,
That's cute.
I got my little invisible shrinker tool. Like Tony was laughing. She saw me do this, and I'm looking at the tags and I'm shrinking how that affected me. And I just went, okay, I'm sorry you're missing it. This, this doubt in my mind just shrunk down to a little pebble. And I just pictured this little pebble, and I go, it's a
I can
little
deal with
pebble.
that. I can step over it.
I can step over it.
And what I like too is that I think that that was a gift seeing the cards, because what you learned from it that you shared with me is when you give people something for free or cheap, they don't show up. When
True.
they pay money, you really want people who pay money because they
True.
are showing. Will you text Alicia, please? I'm sorry, another dog is outside the door barking, and I'm easily distracted.
We both are.
I know. I'm like, dog bark. Sorry, I'm
I know.
out. Did you text her? Okay, thanks. So anyway, you told me a powerful lesson you learned, which was I gave really discounted tickets and none of those people showed up. When you invest in yourself, when you pay money
Mhm.
for something that you want, you show up. It's a gift for the person who's being of service, and it's a gift for yourself to say, hey, I'm investing in me. And when you invest in you, you get rewarded. And when people say you have to spend money for something, you're like, all right. Oh, so maybe I will pay to speak again.
Well,
I was kind of going like, I'm not going to pay to speak anymore. I feel like I'll do it for free or for something, but I'm no longer going to pay for something that I know that I'm supposed to be doing, and then it's my thing. But, I'm also open to no limiting thoughts holding me back.
I've done both.
Yeah.
This last week is I paid to speak on a stage, but I was able to share my program. So
Yeah.
it was a pay to play because I'm able to
Yes.
express what I'm doing with my mastermind. Then I was asked to come in and speak for free. And so I couldn't really talk about my program, but I could share my love of what I do and my heart. So that's where for me, I'll play in both fields.
Yeah.
Because if it's the right place for me to show up and my message is congruent
Right.
with what they're standing for, then I'm all in. I'm like,
Right.
great, I'll figure out a way to do it. Because I want to grow my tribe and my business, but I also want to be an ambassador to the message of pop. So and I
What-
think you're in the same boat.
Well, yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, I go back and forth and my boat rocks a little bit, but yeah, I think that that's right. I think that's right.
So far, we haven't been turtled.
No, I don't know
Yeah.
what that means.
It means the boat goes over and it's on top of your head.
Okay. That would be kind of scary, but not too bad because you have a little breathing hole.
You do,
And you
but
have
it's
something
called
to hang
turtle.
on to.
Yeah,
But your legs are dangling like
Yeah.
carrots for
Yeah.
sharks or whatever to come touch them
yes.
in a loving way, I hope. Do you scuba dive?
I do.
I do too.
I know.
Did
I'm
we
laughing.
talk about this?
Yeah, no, but I've been to Cancun where you were, same resort. I went and played with the dolphins in the pool out there. And then we have a timeshare in Cabo Azul.
Oh, I just hit the. Oh, so I think we should become even closer friends.
I know. I
So
love
I can lay out
scuba
next to you.
diving.
Hey,
Love
Cabo Azul. I didn't go diving there,
But it's a great
it's a
resort.
beautiful resort.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm a scuba diving instructor. I used to scuba dive for instruct for Club Med in Tahiti, and I worked in Guam and the Virgin Islands.
Okay, we've got to go to the
Oh,
Maldives.
it's my favorite.
I haven't been in the
pla-
Maldives.
I haven't either. I'll
Okay,
go
I
with
want to
you.
go there. I've been in Australia. I've been able to travel and go.
Yeah,
But I love, 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 love to dive. It's like one of my favorite things.
it's one of my favorite things on the planet.
Okay, so now we're not just sign up sisters.
Oh,
Now
we're scuba sign up
Yeah.
sisters.
now we're Duffy divers.
What is it, Duffy? Is that something to do with the vagina?
I used to
Because
call
I'm
my
so
tank
open minded.
Duff, my Duff buddy. I don't know why. I don't even know how I came up with that.
Okay. Okay. So,
So I think of a tank as a Duff.
okay.
like a
I don't
duffel
want to be in
bag.
the Duffy part. I just want to be the all S's, like sexy sister scuba divers stuff.
Sensational.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So scuba diving, I feel like for me, is when you're neutrally buoyant at 60 feet
Oh,
and there's just fish And when you're neutrally buoyant, you can sit cross-legged and take a breath up and you go up a little bit and you exhale, you go down a
Oh,
little bit. There's nothing more peaceful. You're being held by the ocean and all you hear is
it's so,
and then you're just looking at the most beautiful.
and you can't talk. Like,
No.
I think Lee and I would both admit we're
We've been going,
talkers. Yeah, I mean, we can do this,
you
but you
can't
can't
talk.
talk.
It makes you present.
It makes you very present, and you have to become one. I love how you said you're held in the ocean. You have to become one in that environment because out in the Pacific Ocean it's very cold. So you have most of the time I wear a wetsuit because it's
Yeah,
colder.
it's
And then
cold.
different parts of the world where
I
I've
don't
been able
like
to
cold.
dive, it's different. The wildlife and the sea life is different. The coral reefs in Australia are very different than like New Zealand. Um, so you have to be present in that. There's so many things that
Yeah.
we're just gonna take this even deeper,
Well,
a
can
deeper
I tell
dive.
one quick dive story?
Yeah.
So Dave and I went to Mexico for an anniversary, and we were walking down like a street in Mexico, and we looked down a really thin alley, and we saw like a Mexican wrestling ring, and there were all the locals around and guys with those masks.
Oh yeah,
And Dave's like,
yeah.
"Let's go!" So we go down there and we just scooch in with the local people, and we pop open some beer, and we're drinking and cheering and everything, and it was so much fun. And then there's a guy next to me as I had a few beers. I looked at him and he had a scuba hat on. And I was like, hola. And I was like, how do you say scuba? I was like, you scuba? And he was like, sí, instructor. I said, oh, quiero con usted mañana, por favor. Quiero mucho. I was saying, I really want to go with you tomorrow. Can I? And he was like, sí. And then he wrote down his name. Like, I think it was
Oh
like
my
Jose.
gosh.
And he wrote
Yeah.
down his number. And I was like, gracias, put it in my pocket. And then we stayed for a while, went and did something else. And when we got home, I was getting undressed. I was like, oh, Dave, I'm going to call Jose and go scuba diving with him tomorrow. He's like, who's he? He goes, he's an instructor. He goes, all right. And I put down the thing and I texted Jose, I'm at this hotel. What time are you picking me up for the dive tomorrow? And he texted back, I'll pick you up at 6:30 a.m. And I was like, fantastic. And then I went to sleep. Or maybe I made out. I don't remember. And then I got up, went with the guy. He picked me up in this little rusted out pickup with the dog in the back. We cruise over to the store, which is about like 20 square feet. Like it's tiny, but there's like a couple tanks there and a little wash bin. And I grab the equipment, I check it out, I try it, all of it works. And he puts it in the car and we go. And we can't really talk to each other. And I didn't have my Google app back then, Google Translate. So I just drive with him. And we're driving at 7 in the morning, 7:15. And then he takes a ride into the jungle. And I'm like, this is interesting. And we just go, but I have a feeling about people. I didn't feel afraid.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, I'm going in the jungle with this guy in some tanks. And then we drive about 30 minutes into the jungle and there's an old man sitting on a stump. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? I get out, I look, and it's just a big hole. And it was so beautiful because the sun was coming through and it was just the white. It was such a beautiful
Oh
blue. And
my
I was
goodness.
like, wow.
Oh,
And then we
Lee.
get geared up and then the old man hands me a flashlight. Now, I had never done cave diving before. And I still didn't know I was. I was like, all right. And so we, get in and we go down. We're looking around the little room. Then he clicks his tank and goes like this. Let's go this way. So I start following him. And we go through pretty big opening into a cave. And there's all these like stalactites, like all these kind of cool
Oh my
things, if that's the right word.
gosh.
And I was like, wow. And I took out my flashlight. I was looking, they're so beautiful. And then he's like, click, click, click this way. So we go through another opening. And I'm really absorbing what I'm seeing.
Oh my
I'm not
gosh.
paying attention and watching markers to find my way in like I would be if I was the dive instructor
Right.
or having the rope
Yes.
that I had in my
yeah.
hand. So I was just following him and we go into the next cave and we're looking around. And then we go in the next one. And then the last one was so thin, I couldn't get through. My tanks
your
were here.
tank.
He had to push me down and like my stomach scraped. And then I stopped and I was like, I kind of poked him and I was like, I don't feel so well. And I said, like, what I'm seeing is like this. And he goes, go up a little bit. And I went up and it was completely clear. And then I went down under that. It was completely clear. So I could see it was just a pocket of weirdness. I wasn't nitrogen narcosis. I wasn't narked out and dying.
I was gonna, yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. So this is just wherever we are, this is happening. So then we look around a little bit. I checked my air. I'm about halfway out and I kind of tink, tink, tink. And I was like, let's go back, buddy. Because I don't know where the hell I am. It's pitch black. So I'm turning around with my flashlight to see if there's anything behind me because I don't know what lives under there. And so I'm starting to do like this stuff. And I'm like, and then as we're going through that final tunnel, I thought to myself, wow, if I died, Dave doesn't have the name of that guy or the number. He wouldn't even know who to ask or where to go or what dive shops are worth. This was even a real dive shop. Wow, if I died and I started and I was in this little teeny cramped thing, pitch black looking around.
Oh my gosh.
And then I was like, and then I took a breath and I thought, well, if I died, I will be at peace because I'm doing something I love. And that was it. I surrendered and we made it back out and it was an amazing experience. But that moment my head started spinning, made my heart rate go up. And if I fed into that, it could have been disastrous for me. So I was just like, you're good. All that's real is you're happy. You're okay. Nothing's worth a heartbeat right now, over a heartbeat. So I just talked myself down and enjoyed the dive and came out. And then after I thought, what would I do differently next time? Maybe get a business card, maybe leave it, and maybe ask someone who could come that could translate. But anyway, that was my weirdest experience of fear for me diving.
Well, yeah. I think
fear and surrender.
I think that's so powerful. I have a couple stories and I'll share a short version of them, but so it took me a long time to get pregnant. You and I also kind of shared that. It took me 5 years of infertility issues. So
tell a little bit about that because so many people struggle with it.
Oh my gosh. So I don't know, but everybody in my neighborhood, we were all in our early 30s, had done our careers, and we were all trying to get pregnant, you know, and I'm the last one out of 6 women in this new neighborhood, and I couldn't get pregnant. So I'm watching all these women have their babies, have their first baby shower, then the baby's first birthday, then the baby's second birthday, and then their second child.
And you're still trying.
And
were you doing in vitro during that time or just
we were doing
sex?
artificial insemination, headed towards in vitro.
Okay.
And I can't even describe it for those that haven't gone through this, but those that have, you know what I'm talking about. And you feel like the kid that's not picked to go on the team. You're not on that team.
And it becomes an obsession.
All
you can think about is you want a baby.
There's nothing you can do. Like I am a get it done, make it happen kind of person. And nothing I could do could make this get it done. There just isn't anything. So for me to be out of control was very uncomfortable. And so eventually 6 years into the process, we'd given up and we're going to adopt because we did the in vitro, didn't take. And then I get pregnant. Then I was pregnant with my son.
So when you started looking into the adoption process, you got pregnant?
I got pregnant. We were in a drunken brawl down in Mexico. And when you kind of give up and said, okay, I'm not going to be able to get pregnant.
But I want to say to people too about that is when you want something so much, it becomes a repellent.
It does.
Your body
Leigh.
acts opposite and it's actually a shield not to get it. So the minute that she tried for 6 years and then she surrendered and went a new direction, her body was able to relax to conceive.
I think my whole life has been a lesson in surrender.
Yeah.
Because then you fast forward, we had a boat and it was a big boat.
We should become better friends.
And so I'm 8 months pregnant and we have another couple on board and we were coming back from Catalina and there was a horrific storm. And so
scary.
It was very scary because there was SOS going down. People don't realize that channel. There's a lot of things that can go wrong because it's a 22-mile channel.
Oh my gosh.
And so I found out then that the couple that was on board can't swim. And then, yeah, that was like, are you kidding? So here I am, 8 months pregnant and it's got a fly bridge on it. So it's a 62-foot boat and the waves are coming over the fly bridge. And so what I did, I was so scared. I went down below into our stateroom, and I just put the covers over my head. And I just thought, this isn't happening. And then my husband comes down and he said, our steering mechanism broke. I have no way of steering this boat. And we're starting to do this, which is,
oh shit.
That's when I was talking about turtle. It does this. And it didn't, but it was going all the way over.
Oh.
And I was freaking out because I thought, I'm going to die with my unborn child. And it was one of those things where you're in the middle of the ocean, to your point, you have no control. And I couldn't fix it.
The ocean is a beautiful beast.
It is Mother
Powerful.
Nature can really whip you into this is how
Submission.
into submission. And that was really another lesson of surrender, of like, we have to prepare to get off this boat. We have to get our, we had a dinghy. We took, lowered the dinghy, and we're figuring out. And then they're like, we can't swim. So we made sure that they had
Oh, my
preservers on.
gracious.
And I wrote about this. I mean, I was just like, and so for me to calm myself and keep my 8-month-old baby calm and trying to just breathe through it and just surrendering to the circumstances was one of my biggest lessons, because I didn't want to lose this precious
Yes.
baby in fear. And
the more
was-
chaotic it got for you, or the more that you tried, or the more you pulled things, you get
Yeah.
injured, your baby would get injured. And it's something about
so
realizing
true.
it's the whole Byron Katie being at peace with what is. Not that you have to
Mhm.
like it, but you have to work with it. When you fight it or you try and push
So
it away,
true.
you're going to suffer and you're going to lose, because it is what is. So I love that you surrendered. Every time I've surrendered, just beautiful things have grown. Beautiful.
Oh, and I think too, my purpose of starting Passion on Purpose was my heart is, to your point, is to help people find the purpose that lights them up and get on stage and do what they need to do. So to see Leigh stand up there and have the people that came to my event attracted to her, to feel like, wow, it's okay that I'm messy. It's okay that I'm imperfect. And I do want to learn how to be better at surrendering, but also standing strong in my voice and my purpose and my passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was your message. And then what was so exciting, I call myself a business conductor, because really all I do is I just gather the symphony and I gather the instruments. And then that's what my event was. And my one coming up in September is, let me just gather the right instruments, the ones that I'm supposed to have.
And when is your September event?
It's the 12th, 13th, and 14th.
And it's at Hotel Irvine.
It's at Hotel Irvine. Yes.
And where can they go if they want to find out more information?
You can
about
go
that?
to passiononpurpose.net.
passiononpurpose.net.
Mhm.
That's nice and easy.
Yeah.
Just the .net part you have to remember.
I
not
know, I'm in the
.com.
process of getting my .com.
So get .net, people.
Yeah.
I have to read this real quick because sometimes I get paperwork for people to fill out, and if the person feels like they're not sure, they fill it out. And if they don't, I know that I'm not supposed to have it, and we just chat. But Alicia, who I love, my assistant, she put a little 2-paragraph write-up about you. And I read it and was like, what? Because I didn't know this stuff. Some of it I did, but I have to be reminded. But it says, Missy is a certified NLP. What is that word? I can't.
Practitioner?
No, it
or-
says like neuro.
Oh, neurolinguistic.
Yeah, neurolinguistic programming. She has a BA in business from the University of Redland. Go Redland. A law degree from Western State University. When the hell did you get a law degree, and why?
It's when I was a police officer.
Well, I didn't want to get to that part yet.
Oh,
But you got a
sorry.
law degree to be a cop?
No, I was a police officer, and a bunch of the guys that I worked with were going to get a law degree because they wanted out of the police department. And my brother, who I adored and was the golden child in our family, was in law school. And I go, well, maybe that's what I should do, because I don't want to do this forever.
So maybe my parents will like me if I become a lawyer.
Bingo, bingo, bingo.
So wait a second. I want to hear more about the cop business. How did you get in it, and what did you do, and how long were you in it?
Okay, very, very funny little short story. So when I was 19, I decided I wasn't sure I wanted to go to school. It didn't make sense to me. Like, why would I go to something I'm
Yeah.
not going to use? So at 19, a girlfriend and I, Teresa Callanan, we went over to Europe. My neighbor was a doctor and was in the Air Force. We kind of nannied his kids in London. And then we went over to Germany. We go, well, this is kind of fun. I think we're going to stay here. So we got a job.
In
and-
Germany?
Yeah. They had it was on a,
Back
like
in the
a-
day, you didn't have to have a
none of this.
that
Yeah.
card and visa stuff?
Nothing. Yeah, no. Well, if we did, we didn't have it. It was working on a Air Force base, so you could be a U.S.
Ooh.
citizen. So anyway, we
Were they
stayed
cute
there.
pilots? and
They were
stuff?
very cute. She's still married. She just celebrated her 45th wedding anniversary.
She met her guy there?
She did. I was 19. She was 18. She met her guy there.
Oh my
It was awesome. They're still
gosh.
married. We're still really good friends. So I met a guy that said, I want to be a police officer. And I went, well, that would kind of be fun. I'm all about the adventure. So I get back when I'm 20 and I applied. And I got on as a reserve.
And how tall are you?
I'm 5'6".
So 5'6".
Yeah. So they brought me on as a reserve.
Yeah.
I went through the regular police academy, and then I got on
Did
as
you
a
have to do
regular.
push-ups and stuff?
Oh, yeah. We had to climb a 6-foot wall.
Were guys mean to you?
No, I had fun with them because I was a tomboy. So they tried to be mean to me. And
Me
I'm like,
too. I would have
are you
fun with
kidding?
them too.
Yeah. I was like,
we'd
do you think
become
that
one of the
intimidates me?
guys.
Yeah. I'm like, I grew up with 2 brothers.
Yeah.
So you don't scare me. Just
Yeah.
do whatever. So that's what I did. So I did all kinds of fun stuff. It was back in 77. So
How long were you a cop?
7 years.
And you handcuffed people?
I did.
Did you shoot your pistol?
I did shoot it in a robbery.
Oh my gosh.
But I was 21. I was
Wait a
21
second,
with
you're
a gun.
21-year-old kid with a gun.
Yeah, like I was
shooting
21 with a gun
at a robbery.
And it's so funny because you don't realize these are like real bullets. Like it just doesn't seem real. And all of a sudden one went past me and hit our unit. And I went, that's like a real bullet.
Oh my gosh, this is not cat mouse chase.
And then I was an undercover for, it was for a sting operation, and I was an undercover prostitute. And so it was all fun and games.
How far did you have to go as a prostitute to nail the guy?
Well, this is the funny part of the story.
Did you actually have to have sex?
First, I ran into my parents. My parents came into the restaurant.
Oh, wait,
in
tell
Huntington
that
Beach.
story.
Yeah, and my dad's like, what are you doing?
She was dressed like a prostitute.
Yeah, I
Her
had like
dad
no
walked
bra
in.
and I'm smoking. Wait a minute, let me see if I can do the Leigh thing.
And then you got to pick it out with you
Oh, yeah.
and spit a little.
You
And
do it
she
better
has,
than I
she
do
has
it.
some pretty big boobs. So she's sitting there with her big boobs with no bra with her dad
So
walking
funny.
in.
And then I had 2 cartoon characters that I worked with in Vice. And so that was hilarious because my mom had to drag my dad out of there. Like, what is she doing? And then, so I was wired at the time. You didn't have anything like what you do now. This is the 70s. So I had this
Wire where you probably could be tapped once and they could feel it.
Yeah.
So it's like
So this is like,
your
we're in
life.
77. So it's not like,
You have a
I-
huge belt clip and a microphone coming on.
and look, so we get to this hotel and I'm thinking, okay, my backup will come soon and arrest this guy. He was doing child pornography and they really wanted him. He'd done some other
Horrible,
really bad
horrible.
stuff. Yeah, bad stuff. Not a good guy. And so he goes like, well, aren't you going to ask me what I want? And I go, oh, nobody prepared me for this. I go, well, okay, what do you want? He goes, I want a golden shower. And I'm kind of like, I have no idea what he's talking about. He goes,
You're like, I'm kind of new in the business. What is that?
and then he was like, I want the brown bear and golden shower. And I
He wants you
went,
to pee and poo on him.
I was like, but I was so young. I honestly couldn't put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, brown bear. Got it. And it was like, and golden shower.
Golden shower sounds like maybe something I'd be open to if it was really important to someone, but the brown bear or whatever it's called.
And I'm realizing like, where is my backup? So I'm like fooling around with like the volume. And it was like, if you can picture almost like a can of soup.
Yes.
Is like what it was. And it was tucked in.
with
a black.
almost.
Yeah, it was so funny. And it was like an oh crap moment because I thought he wants me to start undressing and doing whatever he wants me to do. And then I started again. I started thinking, okay, fun and games are over. And so I started
Fun and games are over, big guy. No more messing with my soup can. Lay down. I'm going to poop on you.
I was like, so I started like taking my shoulder down and I was just trying to buy time. And he goes, are you new at this? I go, I'm only 21 and I'm new. And I thought, I'm not only new in your world, but I'm really new with my soup can.
And this tape. With
tape.
this giant microphone under my
Who we
shirt.
want to arrest you.
We're trying to arrest you and I can't quite get the stuff to work. And I'm new trying to do this job.
And
So
I
did
have
he
to
say, I'll take care of you, baby. Just lay down and I'll pee on you?
And well, he just goes, well, let me help you undress. And I thought, well, you can't do that because you're going to
I
fill
have
my
a soup
soup
can. Where's your backup? How long do you have to small talk?
So finally, there was a knock at the door. And I have to describe these guys. Their name was Linroy and Pomeroy. And he was like 5'1", was as big around as he was tall. And then Lynn was like 6'1" and was like, it looked like Laurel and Hardy. It was. And they were hilarious. And
Were they
really
badass?
good. Yeah, they were.
Oh,
but they looked like 2 cartoon characters when you saw them, but they could kick butt.
They
and they
could
came
do
from
their
LA
job.
down to Huntington Beach. And they came in, they go, hey, we're here. And I just thought they came in, we nailed the guy. But I realized how serious of what we were doing that it wasn't.
It's almost like good you didn't know. because you might not have walked in the room. And the next time, could you tuck my soup can between my big boobs or something? Because he almost touched my soup can within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, he wanted, I thought if he finds my soup can, and then I have to do a brown bear in a golden shower, which I know, now I know.
You're going to say, lay down in the shower. I'm going to pee and poo on you, but I have to hold my soup can because if it gets wet, it will ruin the
Then we can't arrest
broadcasting
you.
to the
Yeah.
team.
Then my team won't be able to get me out of this and handcuff you.
Well, so that guy who's a filthy, I don't want to be horrible about another human being who's suffering or I know, but at the same time, people come to do that stuff so we can have something to fight and to bring goodness to.
He was a bad guy.
He's a horrible guy.
He was a horrible guy. Yeah, he was.
Horrible guy. So we'll call him a horrible guy.
Yeah.
So I forgot what I was going to say about him.
Soul.
Yeah.
He had a pretty dark soul.
Yeah, he's going to have to come back a few more times to clean that out.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, so I was going to say this dark guy who takes photographs of innocent children wants to shit on you. That all goes hand in hand. Of course he did. That sick pig.
It's a world that I just didn't want to spend a whole lot of time in.
You're like, gosh, please don't let me really learn what this means. Somebody
come
in. Come in.
Yeah.
Come in.
That was like, that was one of those times where I went, I don't know if I want to do this again. Or if I do, you just realize the risk. Again, you're so young, you don't know.
I want to jump. Naive. I want to jump to a new subject.
Yeah.
So I love the mess of life. And I love them. And so somebody just said to me, gave me feedback. Hey, can I give you feedback? And I was like, inside says no, but my head's gonna shake yes. So I smiled and shook my head yes. And they said, this messy and perfect life, I want to embrace my best life. And what you're saying is, you're promoting mess. And I said, well, thank you for that feedback. I didn't say anything back to her. I just let her sit in what she said but what I want to say to everyone else, but no, I actually told this to her too. After a few minutes of letting her sit in and think about what she said, and I was just thinking too, just to give us room. But what I'm doing with the mess is sharing mine and the gold that comes from it.
Oh, yeah.
And that when things aren't going and life is like an ocean, that there's constant waves. We're going to always be in a wave. How will we treat ourselves during the wave? And sometimes the tidal wave's going to come and knock us on our ass and crush us so hard that it takes a long time to take some breath to stand up again.
Or you think you're drowning. Like, and I'm sure you've had this experience where when I first started diving, I would freak out, or same thing. I did a night dive, which was just really scary to me. But you are this close, or you feel.
If you panic, you die.
You do. And there are times, and I think everybody, if you live long enough, you think, I don't know if I'm going to survive this. I really don't know if I'm going to survive this.
Yeah.
And I love your message because there's storms like what I was in. There's storms that we've all been in, and it's messy.
And also
it's messy.
That you can use it with entrepreneurs
Oh, for sure.
As you're building your company, there's going to be waves, there's going to be mess. And here's how you thrive from mess.
So true.
And
Leigh.
we all have mess. That's when we cowered or we isolate or we get depressed that's where we move from. And we let people know we're in a mess and they help us and come to our aid and can have compassion for us instead of us curling up in a ball. And it's also comforting knowing that everyone in this room, the whole three of us, have mess. And if you don't, you're pretty close to dying because the mess is what teaches us. So I love to embrace the mess.
And your compassion. I think one of the things too that I love from the mess is compassion. Because if you've been in that mess and you've been on what you thought was your last breath, and somehow you get your next breath, you're like, well, that was a miracle. Then when you see somebody, you walk alongside them and you're like, you know what? I've been there, and I'm not going to give you advice. I'm just going to let you know that I'm on the other side of it. You can too, and we're going to do it together.
Yeah, and I love it so much too. It's like I was like, well, alcoholism, being neglected, being beaten, but back then they called it spanked. Being on my own and fighting for myself and fending for myself. It's like all of those things I thought were like, oh my gosh, they're big hardships. No, they were my character builders. And I learned from them as opposed to saying I'm not enough because of them. They fueled me to my greatness. And I realized now, like I had a son that struggled. And when I had to send him to a therapeutic boarding school, I crumbled and thought, I'm not a mom because I can't take care of my own kid. And I went through all these stories and
Mm.
being in bed and feeling depressed and heartache and then realizing now, oh my gosh, I can teach on having a kid that struggles. I can teach on having a alcoholic parent or feeling abandoned. I can teach on, all of the things that I've struggled with, including my own drinking,
Mm-hmm.
that is off and on for me. It's not crippling, but it's crippling. So it's not impeding my life in such a way that I have to stop or I'm going to die. But it
Mm-hmm.
is like as I kind of rise in my greatness and my power, it's not really matching up when I get drunk and do a high kick. I do like high
Oh,
kicks,
that's.
but also I'm like, oh, I got drunk. And today I feel tired from that. And I'm down the normal level of my energy.
But don't you think it's self-awareness? I think it's when you're as
It's still teaching me. I'll
it is
definitely say
teaching
that.
that self-awareness of, wow, this is the result of I've lost a lot of things by some choices I've made, thinking I was wise enough to make those choices without really good. I didn't listen to some great guides, and when you come out of that, I become more self-aware of my choices, whether it be drinking, the foods I eat,
Yeah.
whatever that is. You become like, wow, I learned, and I think I'm going to do this a little differently because when I
Yes.
do this, this is an outcome.
Yeah.
And I know God up there sometimes, I swear, I think I have forced him to, Excedrin PM at times because he's like, oh my gosh, I've tried to teach you this like 12 times. And don't you realize it's painful? And then on the 13th time, they go, oh, okay, that's what's causing it.
Yeah, and I think too, I think that you said great guides gave you information, but it doesn't matter if it's not the right time for you to hear it. It's
Yeah.
like
Oh, good
when
point.
you're ready to
Really good
learn,
point.
the teachers show up. And I think
Good
also
point.
um I learned from experience and I teach from my learnings from getting dirty.
Mm,
And I
mm,
am an expert in the things I teach on or talk on because I have been in it. I have hurt, I've crumbled, I have stood up, I've cleaned off, I've
mm.
made next steps to be whole again. And then I've gotten all of the message it came to teach me, all of it.
And you're ready. And I think that you make another great point, Lee, is that what you do is you take people where they're at. And there are times where we have all this wisdom and a
Mm,
lot of lessons as you get older. You just have more years, you have more Legos put into your structure.
right.
And you're further along with those
Yeah.
lessons. And some people aren't ready. Like literally, my event taught me so much because whether they weren't ready, I totally undervalued what I was doing. Again, lesson learned. But maybe they weren't ready to even look at that value because they weren't there yet. So instead of judging myself or who was there, who wasn't there in our lives, you're really good at just this is where I'm at. This is what I want to share and bring forth. And I'm on my path. And if you want to join, great. And if you don't,
Yeah. I also got really clear when I was like, why am I here? And I got this lesson really
mm,
clear. You're here because you are a bright star and you're temporarily put in this earth
oh,
suit. And I was like, what is my purpose on the planet? It's to shine your star. It's to share your light.
mm,
So with that simplicity,
wow.
I know what my job is. So on my walk this morning on Fryman, I know my job is to share my light with the people passing me.
Mm,
And especially with the ones who don't smile at me. I beam up for them. I give them all I got because I know that
wow.
they're needing it at that moment. And then the ones who are filled with love, we see each other and there's just a beautiful warmth in my body. And I assume that they're experiencing too. But it's like, I see you. Hello, fresh air. And we keep walking. But I always like today, I just made a point of it to you're on this planet to shine your light or to bring light into the darkness. Shine.
And I think with no expectations,
None.
I was on a mission trip with my kids. We went on a lot of mission trips around the world. And
You've done a lot of cool shit, girl.
yeah, I've crammed a lot in.
Me too.
And we were in Costa Rica and it was in a small village and a lot of children there had no idea who their parents were and they were kind of raised literally by the village. They were street kids. And my
Mm.
kids were with me. They were 8 and 10. And these kids threw rocks at us and they were angry and they had sticks and they were trying to hit us. There was about 15 of us. And my kids and I thought this, but my children at that age spoke it and they're like, "Why are we even here? They don't want us here. They're trying to harm us." And the pastor that was there said, you're here to help them, even though they don't know your heart, and you're here to shine and give them love, even though they are not receptive to it, because what they know is brokenness.
That's the
So
beauty of
do
giving
not,
love
it
with no
is, do
expectation.
not leave here expecting anything other than you're here to serve. So we went about our business. We kind of redid a school. We built a playground, and there was never this
Just
moment.
little things like that.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of us there to do it,
Yeah,
but
I know.
we left there without any like, wow, oh, we're so glad, we're so grateful. You know, the commercials you see where all
Yeah.
the children are like, oh, you made a difference in my life. Those kids were not thinking that. So when we're flying home, the pastor said, there are going to be those times that you're going to give and you're going to be the shining light. And you don't know how much that's going to make in their life years down the road. And it's one of those teaching moments that all of our teachers have had when we're not getting it until
Yeah.
years later. So I love that about you, because that's what you do. You're the North Star, the shining light. Excuse me, and how they
I'm so
respond
sorry.
is how
Was that a burp?
I know it was.
Where did that
It
come
was.
from? You
I think it was
didn't.
a Perrier.
Oh, you are drinking
I drank the
Perrier.
Perrier.
I
So
was like, what?
there's a little
that burp.
diving bubbles going on there, and it was a little ascension.
You know,
deep.
I'm a big fan of body functions, and I love farting, and I love burping.
It came
brings
out in
me
a healthy
great
way.
joy.
I think. Yeah, it was joyful. It was a joyful burp.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
So that was another
Yeah, I
great
love
lesson. I
that.
love sharing lessons with you because you just get it, and I love our dialogue even when we talk. Just when we talk, I love sharing moments
Yes,
with you.
me too, because you're fun and spicy and have like a deep love for
Mm,
yourself, which you know, when you love yourself a lot, people, when you really love yourself a
yeah.
lot and you do self-care and you take care of yourself and you really realize that you're kick-ass and you're miraculous and you're
Mm,
perfect just where you are and that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, you can really start loving yourself. And the more you fill yourself up with love, it can literally bubble out onto the people around you. And parents who give their all to their children are missing their life. And I don't know why that just popped in my mouth to say that or my head.
mm,
But when I hear parents go, oh, my kids are my everything, I'm like, oh, dude, you're missing out on a life because you are here for you. And when we put ourselves first, when we do what we love, we're showing our kids how to live. We're not showing them how to step out of themselves for another human being.
mm.
Every time I go out with my friends, or every time I leave for an event, or every time my kids are like, you're going again. And I go, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm giving freedom to you to live your life when it's however you want to live it.
Mhm.
Your needs are met. I got you covered. You got rides. You're going to have food. I'll be back. You know, I love you. Peace out. And I don't allow any guilt or anything to come because that would be self-centered
Mhm.
going into guilt. I've given them the gift. I've taken care of them. I can put that to bed and touch base with them a few times throughout the trip or wherever I am, knowing they're in good hands and that God has a whole community to help us in the world. So I was like, they're good. I'm going to focus on me and why I'm here. What am I to share and what am I to receive? And it's so freaking freeing. And people are like, oh my God, you left your kids? I'm like, hell yes, I did. Damn straight.
That's
And
right.
I will do it again and again. But they always know I'm coming back and they
Mhm.
always know I got them.
It's yeah, motherhood is
Holy
that's a
shit.
whole nother that's a series of lessons. Just
Oh,
motherhood alone. If you throw marriage, any kind of marriage or partnership, and you throw motherhood in there or non-motherhood,
motherhood's the biggest trip, the biggest
oh
job, the
my
hardest
gosh,
job,
yeah.
the biggest heart opening job I've ever experienced in my
Humbling.
life. Humbling.
Yeah, both of my kids have had struggles. And then we
Yeah.
have a blended family and we've had struggles. And um, I've learned, I've told my children this. I said, humbly, I'll tell you, I've learned more through being your mom
Yeah.
than any other, that you gave me probably the biggest gift. I hope you know how much I love you and just cherish you and the memories and what we've doing life together. It's really fun now though, because we take trips and we're all together with their
Yeah.
partners and that. But yeah, it's a lot of lessons in that.
With their partners, can I ask, are they both?
My son is gay
Yeah. I was
and
going to say, are they both gay? But I don't think it's right to call a woman gay, right? It's just for men.
yeah, my son corrected me on that. He
Yeah, I
goes,
get
"Mom."
confused.
He goes, "Mom."
So
gays and lesbians are different. I go, oh,
okay.
but I go,
I always thought that was
does
the
a lesbian know
umbrella.
that? Yeah. Well, in his up in San Francisco, the lesbian tribe, if you will, is different than
The
gay
tribe.
men. Yeah,
Okay.
because I went to gay bars with him, and I said, well,
I love gay bars.
yeah, but I
so
thought
much.
we're the gay women, because Mom, they don't always go to the same bar. Now we did go to one where there was lesbian women and gay men, but it was an education for me. It
Yeah.
was a total education for me.
And I also, you know what I love about gays, and I have more gay friends, I think, than lesbian friends. I don't even know actually, but I'm just thinking the first one of my best friends is gay, and what I love about him is the struggle he has been through just to be him.
Oh gosh, that's
Oh my,
so.
the judgment and the hate and the anger just
Oh,
because
it's
he was
so
born that
true.
way. And people
Mm-hmm.
say it's a choice, but I see photos of him when he was 2 and he was gay. And my friend's son is gay, and he at one was started his collection of these dolls.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny when we judge someone for who they are, we are hurting ourselves.
I think there is no black and white. Like I had a girlfriend that was a twin.
Oh no, there's black and white.
Yeah,
Don't get I've had some pretty
it's
cute black
but
boyfriends.
she was married, had no attraction to other women, went through a horrible divorce, and just said, "I'm going to choose a female as a partner because I'm done with men." So she
So
said,
she didn't have like a longing for a vagina.
Mm-mm,
She wanted the energy of a woman.
she did. So I've just come to the
That
conclusion
you want me?
that, well, I know
Well,
that.
then let's
Yeah,
explore that. Come here.
I, it was like, however you show up and how you get there, it's not up to me. And I'm of a Christian faith, and this has gone down some dark paths. And a lot of my friends are like, well, when are you going to work on getting him?
Jesus would never work on changing a soul.
No, and
He would love and embrace them and accept them exactly where they are as his brother.
yeah, and I just thought he was mad at
That's
the tax collectors. That's when he had a little temper tantrum because they were
yeah.
trying to do things that were harming the community. And
Jesus touched all that were
oh,
struggling and
he
all with
did. The
heartache.
Bible is filled with messy lives. If you ever want a
Oh,
book of messy lives,
yeah.
messy imperfect lives, like Leigh and I could be in that cast of characters because, like I said, you meet me, I'm as imperfect as probably you'd want to meet.
Well, we all are because we're
Yeah, we
human.
are.
We're
We
raised by
are.
humans who set us up with our things we
Oh
have to
my
overcome,
goodness.
and then hopefully we overcome and learn from them. But we're going to set up our kids with the things that they came here to learn
Yeah.
and to work through. And
Mhm.
that's why we can't be perfect. And as soon as you're done learning, you go back to the stars where we came from.
Yeah. It's yeah. I've learned so much. And I have a disabled brother. He's a schizophrenic. He talks to
Damn, that's
airplanes
hard.
and he has an IQ of about a first grader.
Oh, he's got a double
He's
whammy,
got a
man.
double whammy. And then we've had mental illness in our
Me
family.
too.
And so I love it because it humbles me. It helps me take others where they're at. My story is not they go off to a 4-year college with straight A's and they were on the rowing team, which they really weren't. It's another conversation. Trying to create a perfect life. And I did try and do that. I wanted to be that Orange County mom, and everything went
You want it to
haywire.
be the picture that we've seen or the picture we hold in our head, as opposed
Yeah.
to allowing it to be our picture that we paint.
And that was my lesson.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like I'm imperfect. I'm growing, and that's how I want
And
to
you
see
can't
you.
say perfectly imperfect to people. People want to say that because we're not here to be perfect. And if we
Mm-mm.
try to be, we are suffering and we're wearing our asses out.
It's exhausting.
It's too exhausting. I like to be messy, and I like to not sure what I'm going to talk about, and I like to not even sometimes know what people do and to explore with them and hear who they are instead of
Yeah.
trying to research it like all the other podcasters do. I'm like, no, I don't have time, but I do like a gab, and I do like to learn some shit.
I love this because I've watched. I hope you watch other podcasts Lee's done because I watch them, and to me, it's so refreshing. It's like drinking a glass of really good cold water.
Oh, I thought you were going to say wine. I was like, all right, I'm in like that. So I can learn a little bit more about drinking and the effects it has on me.
it's it's satisfying because it's real, it's authentic,
Yeah.
and you don't add anything to water. Like water is H2O. So I feel like this is an H2O podcast because it is what it is. And
It sustains
it's not
life.
filtered and
Yeah.
it's life sustaining. That's why honestly I feel very honored to be here because I want to
Oh.
show up and I do. I've really fallen in love with myself the last few years. And
Oh.
I
Doesn't that
like
feel
it. It
nice?
does.
It
And
feels so
I
nice.
want to help people realize that you're never too old. It's never too late. It's never too early.
Yeah, that's what I like is that how this damn thing started because Davis knew to
Yes.
do a podcast and he said no. I'd never listened to one. And I saw the equipment. I was like, guess I'm supposed to do my own podcast. Like literally. And I allowed it to
Wow,
be
Leah.
that. And people are like, well, what's your format? I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out tomorrow on my first guest. Well, actually, that guest is me. I guess I'll figure it out on me. And it can be that simple
Mm-hmm.
and it can be messed up and it doesn't have to be right ready. You just
Yeah.
go. You just go.
I think just being real with the moment. The other part that I've learned.
I just want to say after this part that you learned, we're going to wrap up. So I want to
Okay.
make sure that you plug again your thing. I just want to
Oh,
say that so I don't forget.
thanks. I'll plug that in. It's you go to www.passiononpurpose.net and all our information will be there. Or you can, if you have any questions,
And when is your next event?
it's September 12th, 13th, and 14th at Hotel Irvine. And if you have questions, just go info@passiononpurpose.net and they'll go right to me.
I might be
Okay.
speaking, but we're going to have a
Yeah,
conversation
we're gonna
about that
talk.
after because we
Yeah.
had some miscommunication.
We did, but we'll talk. I think
I-
you'll be there.
I probably will.
Yeah, she will.
So if you like me and Missy, come see us
We're kind of
in
a
September.
duo. Yeah, we're a good duo.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to be an FBI agent actually.
oh, did you?
After I graduated from college, and then I called and they said, I was like, what's the prerequisites? They said, college degree, you got it. Have you ever done drugs? Yes. You can't be a part of it. And I was like, what? And they said, no, you can't. I was like, well, isn't it good I've done drugs? Because I kind of know what's going down with it. And they're like, no, thank you, ma'am. And hung up. And I was like, what's next? I think then I went to
Well, it's funny because
become a scuba instructor.
yeah, but even when they asked that, there were so many wacko people I worked with that went through everything. The psychology, they go through even back then they did put you through a lot of testing, and they were so messed up. So I'm thinking, even though their bars were they thought high,
Yeah.
you still got goofballs in
Yeah.
there.
So what is your wrap up comment that you would like to give out for people?
This is going to be an oxymoron or kind of a yin and yang. Is my hope is from this, and as you continue to watch Leigh, if you come to our event, my event, Leigh will be there, is for you to really zero in on what you're made to do. Like, what is your true genius? I call myself the genius finder because my heart is really just to help you get to where we're at with I know what my purpose is, I know where my passion is, and it lights me up like a Christmas tree as it does yours.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've been a Christmas tree wrapped with lights, and then I finally plugged it in, and now I'm brilliantly shining.
Yes. What did you say? You help people find their genius.
I help people find their genius.
And one thing to start noticing what your genius is what lights you up?
Mm-hmm.
What are you the most excited to do, even if no one's watching, or you only do it on the weekends, or you only do it? What is that? Make note of that. That's so damn important.
It is. And then know that if you want to monetize it, you need other people to help you because I think we've all done this as entrepreneurs. We try and do 12 different things because we say we don't have the budget or we say this when in reality, what my genius is helping you, number one, find your genius, what lights you up. But then how do we monetize that? How do we turn it into a business that has leverage and that? Because that's where we all get lost. We get lost and I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I'm not enough. Well, you are.
And all of that's not true.
All of it's a lie.
Yeah.
So we go from empty lies. Think of a gas tank on empty.
We go into a prison with our thoughts.
Yeah.
And we just
then
sit at the bars going, I can't really do anything.
Find somebody that fills your tank.
Yeah.
Who goes in with high octane, fills your tank so you're on full and
so Missy says, fill your GD tank.
Yeah.
All right. And experience water and yellow and brown
The golden shower
Showers. I
and the
can't
brown
remember the name of
bear.
it.
You don't really want to know what those are.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. It was such a gift to
Oh,
have you
Leigh,
here, sweet
thank
lady. I love you.
you.
I'm going to hug you in 1 second.
Thank you.
Make sure if you're listening to this podcast that you subscribe to it. And I have my event coming up October 18th through 20th in LA.
And a bunch of my team is going to be there. I think she had 20 people at my event sign up. So we're excited to
Yeah.
go up and see her and her genius up there. So I can't wait to watch you and what you're going to do with this over 3 days.
It's so fun because
Mm,
I get out of it a little bit and I say,
Yeah.
hey, God, will you step in here and facilitate this? Or else I'm going to care where that paper is sitting, or I'm going to care how many people showed up. And I want to be fully present for what is. And when
Yeah.
I did that, I surrendered. It was the most magical day. And 50 women came and everyone
yeah.
was vulnerable. And my favorite was our friend Tony.
Oh,
Her quote was something like, I'm not woo woo. I don't meditate. I don't journal. I don't cry, and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, and then Leigh brought her genius, and I meditated. I cried.
so true.
I
Yeah.
journaled, and I guess I am woo woo after all. And it
It's
was
kind
so
of like taking
sweet.
General Patton and seeing him meditating and going woo woo.
Yes,
she
which
is
I
an
would
ex-
do with him. And the
Yeah,
other
you
thing I
would.
would with
You
him.
would. You could transform Patton.
And the last thing that when you were talking earlier that reminded me, I was like, oh yeah, it's you were talking about bridging something or connecting something or no, you were talking about me meeting people where they are.
Mhm.
And what became really clear after I found out who I was and why I was here was my job is to continue to cuss if I want to continue to be messy, can continue, but to shine my light anyway.
Mm,
And that I'm the bridge between Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, and the people who aren't even sure that they care at all about spirituality. That's what excites me,
wow.
is to open in a way that's so relatable and vulnerable, which we all have inside of us, and to express it, to allow other people to express it. And then they can start moving in a
It's a
new way.
beautiful thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
like
love your
it.
podcast. I do.
I love you, and I'm honored that you were here. And now I would
Oh,
like to
thank
stand up
you.
and embrace your body.
Okay.
Are you up for that?
I'm up for it.
Okay, great.
We're going to do
Thanks.
some belly rub.
Oh, wait, I don't know what that means, but I'm
Just a big
getting-
hug.
Oh, this is the beginning
Yeah.
of our new relationship.
It is. Oh.
Oh, I do love you.